Howdy, friends and floorheads. Butter Princess comes from the twisted imagination of Brian Sago. Butter Princess uses the Trophy Dark rule set, which is built on the bones of Cthulhu Dark, a game that we have a lot of fun playing here on the channel. These are all games where descent is inevitable, and the darkness is never far behind. Like those inspirations, Butter Princess is not about heroes. It's about desperate, grasping people, flawed, obsessed, and willing to sacrifice anything for a taste of glory, revenge, or even just recognition. Their goals may be noble, selfish, or downright unhinged, but whatever their reasons, the path they've chosen leads only one way: to ruin. Our three players know this, and they'll ride their characters like they stole them. They will scheme, manipulate, and claw for control, even as the world unravels around them. They will play to lose, not because their characters want to fail, but because the story is richer, stranger, and more satisfying when the price of victory is everything. We will follow our three fairgoers through 5 rings full of moments, terrors, and temptations. Who will make it through all 5 rings, from the bus to the dairy building holding the Butter Princess? Settle in. Things are about to get weird, a little grim, and maybe even a little comical. I want to welcome everybody to the Minnesota State Fair, a celebration of fried food, flashing ride lights, and the slow unraveling of desperate people. Well, you already can see that we have got some all-star players to run this through. And just like always, I want to just start playing. I will teach the game as we play. So for those of you watching that are not familiar either with Trophy Dark or with Butter Princess, hopefully you'll understand it by the time we get going. All right, folks. Every summer, under the scalding Minnesota sun, the State Fair opens its gates to the heat-struck and hopeful. It's a celebration of flesh and fat, livestock and lemonade, churned butter, and God's own heartland. There are funnel cakes and tractor pulls, Ferris wheels and pie-eating contests. Above all, above even the tilt-a-wheel and the champion sow, there is the Butter Princess. 12 girls, but only one throne. Each contestant sits one by one in a refrigerated glass chamber while a portrait of her is carved in 90 pounds of salted butter. Spectators line up to gawk at the golden effigies, lit like saints in a walk-in tomb. But only one girl and her butter effigy will be crowned the Butter Princess. You three are coming to the fair with drive and purpose. Maybe to win, maybe to steal, maybe even to destroy. Maybe because something deeper and darker calls to you through the grease-slick summer air. Here, sweetness rots and hope curdles. This is a story about bad decisions, slow unraveling, and a spectacular failure. Don't worry about surviving. Your characters think they might win, but they probably won't. What matters is how far you fall and how gloriously you take your fellow delvers with you. Let's start off with ring 1. The misplaced confidence at the gate. You are all on a shuttle bus from the gravel remote parking lot. It's many, many miles away. It takes over an hour to get here. Chat, what do people see when they look at you on this rickety shuttle bus?
Oh boy, well, I'm just a good old country boy. Got me my straw boater. Probably have already given up my seat to a lady that was having to stand on the back, and big old shiny belt buckle, and nice, nice fine leather vest, neatly cleaned, and some nice jeans, cowboy boots, uh, and just a winning smile, full of charm, and a voice like molasses poured over a fluffy stack of pancakes.
Stable. What do people see when they look at you on this rust-pocked shuttle bus?
It's so nice to meet everybody. So what you'll see is someone who's I'm not dressed for the weather. I have I want to say layers and layers of clothing on, but it's all bohemian boho, child of the earth, flowing skirt, but there's layers to it. And giant head wrap, big earrings, with a very friendly demeanor. And next to her, with its own seat, is a ferret.
What is our ferret's name?
Peter von Kruger.
So, Stable, I need you to tell me your first impressions of Chet and why he rankles you.
He seems like someone that's going to try and sell me a house or something, but at the worst possible interest rate.
Beautiful.
There.
Graham, what do people see when they look at you on this wheezing shuttle bus?
Well, as it says in my bio, a male butter princess.blogspot.com, they see someone who they should aspire to be like. As the only male butter princess, I have shown that this is an area that everyone can aspire to.
Graham, can you tell me your first impressions of Stable and why you instantly distrust her?
She has a ferret. Do you know how those things get into the food? You know, and their hair, yeah, definitely messes with the flavors.
Last but not least, Chet, I need to ask you about your first impressions of Graham. And what is he doing that grates your nerves?
Oh, Graham, he's a good old boy, you know. He does this thing though when he's getting ready to make a point where he sucks on his teeth. He's like, you know, he doesn't even notice he's doing it, but he just, oh man, that little noise is going to haunt my nightmares for generations.
The bus is crowded. The hour-long drive feels like half a day. But finally, the bus releases a stuttering hiss as it comes to a stop. And the heat inside the cabin exhales with you in it onto the pavement. The asphalt radiates upwards like an oven tray, baking the bottom of your feet like shoes. Baking the bottom of your feet through your shoes, not like shoes. The sky stretches impossibly wide and blue, brushed only by the thinnest clouds, bright as sugar floss. The sun glints off of metal ticket booths and dances across the tops of the food carts. I would like one of you to tell me, what is the theme of the fair this year, and what do you see that makes you question its wholesomeness?
Oh, okay. What I see, please read to us if we don't like this. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Okay.
So it's all about reuse, recycling, and what kind of puts it on edge is that it's sponsored by a giant corporation who last year got in trouble for, some chemical spills.
Absolutely love it. As you look beyond the rusted chain link fence, there's the smell of fried dough and sticky sweet candy mingling with the acrid sunscreen and spiky body odor. Past the turnstile, the fair unfolds in chaotic glory, tents snapping in the breeze, children already sticky with sugar, and clusters of people orbiting food stands and games of chance. They move as one, a slow tide of bodies surging between rusted rides and sagging tents. Sunburnt men in oil-stained jeans drift alongside mothers in their pastel cardigans. The smells of feed barns clinging to some and salon perfume clinging to others. Their faces blur in the heat, mouths open, laughing, chewing, and sputtering. Children dart like minnows between the legs of the adults, vanishing into the current of vice. The crowd serves the fare, feeding it with coins and sweat and unblinking attention. The fare can seem like a living thing, and its veins run with their breath and blood. The faithful are here not for pleasure, but to keep the state fair alive. The Butter Princess competition begins after the sun sets. For now, you need to get inside, past the ticket booth towards the Miracle Birth Barn. Make sure you are scoping out your competition, and please indulge in your gluttony. Graham, what fair food holds power over your self-discipline?
Oh, definitely the corn dogs.
Okay.
You know.
How about for you, Chet? What fair food beckons you from the other side of this chain link fence?
I can't say no to a candy apple.
And how about for Stable? Stable, you get a whiff of something. It's your favorite. What is it?
Funnel cake.
Good old fried dough.
Yes.
The doors of the bus close. There's crowds of people in front of you, between you and entering the state fair. What are we going to do?
I'm going to rub my shirt sleeve over my nice shiny belt buckle. It says first place, Little Rock Livestock and Cattle Show, and hitch that up so it gets a gleam to the sunlight coming through. Everybody can see what a big deal I am, and I start casually making my way through the crowd. Oh, excuse me, pardon me. Just got to get livestock judge here. Just excuse me, pardon me. Excuse me. Well, lovely dress, ma'am. Lovely dress. Oh, what a cute child. What a cute baby. Oh, can I kiss it? Oh, it just looks. Oh, what a doll.
As you work your way, Chet, through this sea of flesh towards the ticket taker who's punching the tickets, allowing people in, the ticket taker seems to recognize you. He looks up at you and his eyes narrow, his hands reach out for your stub, but he seems to hesitate. His smile is almost too polite. He leans in and whispers something in your ear. Why is him recognizing you a problem?
I've traveled to many of these shows, county fairs. This particular gentleman happened to see me at one of my less agreeable moments in a previous instance. Look, the stereo equipment I was told was legitimate, by the person from whom I acquired the stereo equipment. And, the Craigslist doesn't offer any kind of refund or account. It's buyer beware, so you You just got to do your research, son. I'm sorry.
So as he leans in, he's so close that as he whispers in you, you can feel his lips kind of tingle your earlobe. And he says, that stereo still doesn't work. And you ain't getting in here, Chet Smith.
Have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in? That always works for me.
So I'm going to call for a risk roll here, Chet, to start off with. What if you succeed at this risk roll? What do you hope to accomplish?
I would actually like to turn this guy to my side. And we've both been bamboozled by the person that sold me the stereo equipment, and maybe he'll come to my help later on when I'm facing some dire ruin.
So it sounds like if you succeed at this, chat, we have picked up a new ally potentially here at the state fair, and one who seems to hold some power. I mean, this man is literally a gatekeeper for the state fair. So next thing we need to talk about is what could go wrong. So Chet, I think if you fail this, not only will you not pick up a new ally, but you are going to be unable to enter the fair just like everybody else does. There is going to be no ticket that gets you inside this fair. Mm-hmm. Stable or Graham, what do you think could go wrong if Chet fails?
I think if Chet fails, he'll let him in, but then he'll flag security about him, so he has security following him through in case he tries to nick anything.
Like it. Stable, what do you think could go wrong here? And don't be nice to Chet.
That's fair. That's fair.
Come on. Chet's not too bad.
I think if Chet fails, this ticketer is going to make it his mission to make sure you stay far away from the fair.
I like all of these here. This does not look good for Chet for failing. So let's start putting some dice together. So this is again based off of Trophy Dark. So we're going to have a die pool. It's all D6s, but there's two color die. There are light die and dark die. You are able to pick up, Chet, a light die if one of your skills matches and is applicable here. So if I look at your character sheet, you chose livestock virtuoso and a penniless grifter for your background and your occupation. That gives you the skills of animals, barns, writing, and sympathy. Do you think any of those apply here?
I'm going to be leaning on sympathy. Look, I'm real sorry. The guy that sold me that stereo equipment, he said it was good to go. And, I'm not much of a gearhead myself. So, I just had to take him on his word. And so, after we get done here, I got this judging to do. So after we get done here, you meet me in the parking lot. I'll give you a full exchange. I'll give you a refund. I'll take that back and we'll get things going. I'm just as much a victim as you are here. So, there's no reason for us to be enemies about this. We could be friends.
I totally believe sympathy. Yeah, I believe sympathy here, chat. So you're definitely going to get one light die. So let's add one light die, but don't roll yet. You have an opportunity to pick up a second light die. Every time we do a risk roll, I and potentially your other competitors here are going to offer you what's called a devil's bargain. And the way a devil's bargain works is something that will be true whether you succeed or don't succeed. And you can accept one of these devil's bargains to pick up a light die, or you can refuse them all. I think I will start and offer you this. Chet, whether you succeed or fail this roll, you are going to be marked by fair security. So at any point, it's always going to feel like the security here at the fair is always watching you. The CCTV cameras always seem to be pointed towards you. It always feels like somebody in a cheap Minnesota State Fair police uniform is always going to be right around the corner looking over your shoulder. That's my devil's bargain. Stable or Graham, do you have a devil's bargain you want to offer, whether he succeeds or fails?
I will second yours because I was going in that same area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give something slightly different. If he will take your ticket he'll mark it, and then he'll wave you through without giving it back. So if you ever have to leave the fair, you can't get back in.
Ooh, so whether he succeeds or fail, he loses his pass into the fair. Chat, do either of these devil's bargains look good to you?
I like not having my ticket anymore. That seems like something I can talk my way out of. So
All right, so I need you to jot down on your character sheet a little bit later under the notes section, you're going to put lost ticket, right? So regardless of what happens on this roll, you're going to lose a ticket. You now have 2 light die, Chet. My last question for you is, do you wish to risk your mind or body to accomplish this? And if so, I want you to add a dark die.
Oh, I don't think that this is. You know what? Actually, yes, I will risk my mind and body.
All right. So
I got to get in that fair, son.
Well, and you're in a very particular position because you took so many feats of hubris that you have a ruin of 3 already, 3 of 6. So what happens now that a dark die is involved in this roll is if the dark die ends up being the highest die value, it's also higher than 3. Chet's ruin will go up by 1, getting him one step closer to being consumed by the Minnesota State Fair. We've got 2 light, 1 dark for a risk roll. Let's do it.
Let's see what we get. Oh, look at that. Smooth as butter.
Ooh, a 4, a 3, and a 3. A 4 is a success, but there's a complication. So before I give you your complication, Chet, tell me what the success looks like.
This guy, his name, he goes by Rooster, which is weird. I don't know what his actual name is, but Rooster, he gives me the discerning glare of someone who knows he's being conned, but he's also not entirely sure he's not being conned, but he knows he's being conned. And so that's why he'll take the ticket and he'll not give it back. And he'll say, well, I'll just be waiting for you in the parking lot then with that stereo equipment afterwards. I'll make sure that I keep a close eye out for you.
Yeah, and Rooster is an ally for you because that is what you wanted to accomplish here. So not only does Rooster let you in, but Rooster's your buddy. He is an ally for you here in the State Fair. But there is a complication. And the complication I'm going to give you is, I think there's a good likelihood that Rooster is going to end up getting impatient. And he may not wait till after the fair closes and you go to the parking lot to claim his refund for the stereo system. So that is your complication. Graham, as you see this guy with the huge belt buckle work his way up to the ticket counter, have a bit of a conversation with this tall, goofy Minnesotan gatekeeper, and seem to melt past the gate into the fair itself. You're still on this side. You are not into the fair, and I want to know what you're going to do about it.
So I'm going to kind of weave my way in and out, do that thing of talking to the person in front of me and then slowly rotate so that I'm in front of them, and then, oh, hey, how you doing? And just kind of work my way through that really long line, just weaving through the people.
So as you're doing that, we see a young girl, very pretty, wholesome, Minnesota wholesome. And she's got a Butter Princess sash across her chest. And you don't really see where she's coming from. She just kind of appears, Graham, and her dress is spotless. Her expression is blank. She slides you a folded piece of paper that smells of butter and lavender. And when you open it, it reads, "You are not where you're supposed to be." And when you look up from it, she's gone. But now someone in yellow polo is ahead with a photo in their hand scanning the crowd. Who do you think wrote the note? Guys, I need to step away for just a second. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
So who do I think wrote the note? Let's see. Obviously, the little girl's one option. But this felt like she's probably one with the sash. She's probably one of the contestants. So there could be a judge. I'm
Somebody that
thinking
knows you
maybe,
from your food blog.
yeah, could be somebody from a food blog. It could also be one of the people from the competition that I won,
The
back a
third
few
place.
years ago. So, yeah, there's definitely several different type of people that it could be.
All right, so sorry about that, guys. Turns out my daughter was just singing in the shower. It sounded like she was screaming.
Facts.
Yes,
All right.
understand.
It's a fine line.
Yeah, it was a fine line. So, Graham, who do you think wrote this note?
Well, we kind of chatted about different people it could be, but I'm thinking it's probably one of the contestants from my year.
What year was that?
That's 2019.
Gotcha.
Yes, you can see it in the bio of mailbutterprincess.blogspot.com.
So, Graham, if you read that note and this woman appeared from nowhere and now is nowhere to be seen, you look over at people that are in staff fair shirts, having a photo and they're scanning the crowd, and in your gut, you know that that's a photo of you and it's tied to this note somehow. And it's going to really make it difficult for you to move around, not only to get through the turnstile into the fair, but potentially be a problem once you get in there. And I want to know what you're going to do about it.
Okay. So since I see them looking, in one direction, I'm definitely going to try to move to one of the other turnstiles that they've already looked in that general direction, so that I can try to sneak past them. But what I'm really hoping is I'm going to keep an eye on them, because, if they make a big scene that I could record, that would be great to post on the gram for likes.
The Graham's Graham. All right. So we're going to do a risk roll here, Graham. If you succeed, what do you accomplish?
I'm actually thinking that if I succeed, they do notice it me, but like I said, they kind of make a scene that kind of gives me some of the crowd backing me. So so that at a later time I might be able to run into somebody who, oh yeah, I saw what happened to you here, let me help you out.
And I'm going to put something out there, Graham, and you tell me if you're okay with it. I feel like, as controversial as your crowning as the Butter Princess was in 2019, there's kind of like two camps. There are many people associated with the fair that thinks it was a travesty that you were even allowed to compete for the Butter Princess, let alone win Butter Princess. But you also have a camp that very much is behind you, kind of a silent majority that just loves you. And I'm wondering, if we succeed here, if they realize, oh, the 2019 champion is here at the state fair, and they could be helpful for you going forward.
Yeah, that's that's the kind
right?
of thing that I was thinking of. Of course, that other camp is kind of the more homesy folk, and well, I win the experimental year, and then we had this massive flu outbreak. So obviously, we were being punished for my ascension.
Plague Brenner. All right, that sounds good. So now let's talk about what could go wrong. So if Graham goes through here and is able to create a bit of a commotion to make his presence known here at the fair, he's going to be able to get kind of escape away from these people looking for him with the photograph. And he's also going to gain some potential allies among the camp that are pro 2019 Butter Princess champion. What could go wrong here? I'll start. I think if you fail this roll, Graham, not only you'll create a commotion, but what ends up unfolding turns two camps into one. And everybody who recognizes you is no longer pro 2019 Butter Princess champion. Everybody sees you as a pariah.
Okay, just to double check, you said if I fail, but this is the devil's bargain. So this is
this is not a devil's bargain.
Oh, this is not
talk about what could go wrong. So if you fail this roll, I think you lose any allyship. There is no second camp.
Okay.
Does anybody else have thoughts on what could go wrong here?
I think if you fail this roll, then you're no.
You good?
Can I throw in one?
Of course. What do you think could go wrong here, Graham?
If I fail, then the food vendors see that I'm just trying to make a commotion for problems, and I lose access to the food vendors.
Ooh, I think that's good, right? That's not good for food business. If people are distracted and worried about other things, that means they're not in line and they're not buying fried dough. So I think that's a definite potential what could go wrong. Chet, anything else you want to throw in?
No, I think those are good options.
All right, let's talk about a devil's bargain. Devil's bargain is something that we're going to offer. Well, actually, first, let's talk about dice. I apologize. So let's first see if you get a light die. So I'm going to look at your skills, Graham, and you've got hype, taste, mastication, and snobbery for your skills. Do any of those help you here?
I think hype, since that's kind of where I'm trying to go with this, of getting hype for my online presence.
I'm totally good with that. So that's going to give you one light die. Now we get to see if there's a devil's bargain out there to get you a potential second light die. Who has an idea for Graham of whether Graham succeeds or not here? What could happen?
Whether Graham succeeds or fail, the 5th place from the contest in 2019 is going to be doing everything to discredit you online.
Ooh, you have been marked by the 5th place loser of the 2019, the woman that didn't even have a chance to win. She wasn't second place, but she's so bitter. And at 2019, she's a little bit older and a little bit more schemy. So regardless of whether you win or lose, Graham, you have got an enemy who is actively going to work against you here at the fair. I think that's a good devil's bargain. Trying to think if I've got one for you. I think whether you win or fail, or succeed or fail here, Graham, everybody is going to recognize you at every moment. Every person you come across is going to know you are the 2019 Butter Princess, and that could be good or bad. But it's going to there's going to be no chance of you being anonymous once you get inside the fair. You have one shot, or are you good with these other two?
That was the same one I was cooking in my brain.
All right, beautiful.
So no more anonymity.
Would you like to take Stable or mine's devil's bargain?
I'll take yours.
All right, so let's put in your notes that regardless of what's about to happen, you are no longer going to be anonymous here at the fair. So that gets us with 2 light die. I have to ask you, Graham, are you willing to risk your mind or body to succeed here?
Not this early.
All right, so let's roll 2 white die and see what we get. 2 light die.
That works.
Very nice. That's a 6. So you just clean succeed. Tell me what this looks like. Tell me what this looks like, Graham. It is your success, no complications.
Sure. So I am going to, like I said, I'm going into a different stall, but that gives me time to pull my phone out and get it set to the live stream. And I start doing my live stream of, I'm at the fair, making it look like a normal. And then I just accidentally turn. So I'm wandering toward that crowd so that when they come up and they start, messing with me, I can go, look, I'm just here doing my job. I paid my ticket. Here's my stub. And, while they are trying to say, well, sir, we need you to come with us. I'm like, why? I'm just a normal, participant this year. I don't know what's going on, and they kind of usher me away while, I was like, please turn that off, sir. And so end up having, looking like they're forcing me to turn it off. I turn it off, and then they take me kind of to the back, and they're like, talk to me a little bit about, hey, we're trying to keep this a little low key. You know, we're finally getting back into the normal thing. So please don't make a big ruckus. Please don't, you know, try to upstage the current Butter Princess candidates. You know what? We're just telling all the previous Butter Princesses who are here, this is nothing special. And then they let me on my way.
I'm imagining that Graham's Graham live stream, and by the way, I'm going to use Graham's Graham a lot because I think that's amazing. Your live stream, we just see the likes just flooding in. Like you're getting, this is a viral moment unlike anything you've ever had on Graham's Graham. And word gets out immediately that the 2019 Butter Princess champion is actually come to the fair again. I absolutely love that. You are inside the fair, Graham, along with Chet. But Stable, you're not. Stable, you're still on the other side of the fence. You saw this fast-talking, big belt-buckled man work his way through. You saw this huge commotion that happened on the other side, and huge crowds were forming, and lots of people were pointing fingers at somebody. You couldn't quite tell. The problem is that you and your small rodent friend are on this side of the fence.
Mm-hmm. I have like one of the bags on my side, dig in it, pull out a tiny little service animal vest, put it onto Peter, and I'm very, oh crap, I gotta get to the front of this line. I'm gonna be like, oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Oh, excuse me, bumping into people, but trying to ping myself into the front. Sorry, service animal coming through.
Oh my God, I think that's amazing. And tell me if I'm right here. It sounds like you are invoking a feat of hubris.
I mean, yes.
So for those of you watching, as the Butter Princess players, each of their characters get one feat of hubris. This is essentially a superpower that they have, something that gives them the ability to do far more than any other fairgoer is capable of. And they all get one, which is why their ruin starts at 1, but they also have the option of adding more. So for Stable has 2. One is service animal. Use your service animal to disregard a rule, which totally is applying here. And you also have another one, and we're going to keep that one off to the side in case it comes up or not. So this allows you great things. So you're pushing your way through the lines. People are making room for you, and you get right up there to the front of the ticket counter. And Rooster looks down at you and your little service animal, who gives a little bit of a wave to Rooster. And he kind of winces a little bit. And he goes, I think we need to search that bag.
Oh, okay.
And you're pushed over to the side, to a side table. And they're going to start to do a bag search. What contraband do you have in there that you shouldn't and you cannot let them find?
So there are probably a few. One, there's a little pocket knife.
Okay.
There is a weed brownie.
Amazing.
And then you would see a little trinket that has been missing at one of the local libraries.
Ooh, because your occupation is tchotchke buff, right? So you've got all kinds of things in there that could potentially be a problem. So we're going to need a risk roll. So let's talk first, Stable. What does success look like? What are you going to accomplish if you succeed this roll?
So if I succeed in this roll, they're going to let me honestly pass through without the person who's searching my bag won't mention what's inside of it.
Oh, I like it. So the fact that you're bringing this contraband in will not affect anything. It sounds like they're going to know about it, but they're going to keep their mouth shut. I think that's phenomenal. What could go wrong? I think what could go wrong if you fail this is, if you fail this, not only are they going to take the bag, but I think they're going to take your service animal too. Graham or Chet, do you have any thoughts on what could go wrong here?
I don't know. That was a pretty good one. Maybe in the commotion, the service animal gets loose and runs off, and then can cause geo mischief later.
Like that. So not only instead of just them taking away, what could go wrong is that our ferret could take off and potentially be a problem later. Any other thoughts, Chad, on what could go wrong?
I think they will confiscate the bag, and the weed brownie will get entered into the baking competition with your name on it.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about a devil's bargain. So you're going to get a light die automatically. You're using a feat of hubris, so that automatically gives you a light die. You could get a second light die if you accept a devil's bargain. The devil's bargain I want to offer you is, regardless of whether this is a success or not, word is going to get out that you have got all kinds of really interesting knickknacks and tchotchkes inside that bag. And constantly people are going to be asking you, can I look in the bag? What's in the bag? And just pester you for the rest of the fair about what's in that damn bag. So that's my devil's bargain. Who has another one?
Okay, whether you succeed or fail, they tell you no outside food or drinks, and they make you eat the brownie before you win.
You're going to get hot, Stable. Oh my God, that's so good. Chet, you got one?
Whether you succeed or fail, you will be flagged as a woman with a large bag, not allowed to go into any of the shops.
Ooh, there's those tchotchkes got in there somehow, maybe with a 5-finger discount. I like it. Stable, do any of those devil's bargains tempt you?
I'm not gonna lie, Graham seems great.
So, regardless of whether you succeed or not here, you're going to have a little bit of a brownie snack to kind of get the fair started. So, we have got 2 light die. Now, because you're used to feat of hubris, you gained a light die. That gave you your first of your 2, but it also forces you to have a dark die.
Yes.
So, let's have 2 white and 1 dark. Do you wish to risk your mind or body to add a second dark die?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yes. All right, and roll.
This game is so easy. That is a straight up 6 on a light die. Walk me through what this success looks like, Stable.
Okay. As the gentleman is searching through my bag, like with the little stick and a flashlight, see some things, look up, find something else, look up, find something else, look up. Then Peter hops into the bag, sits on the side, and just looks up at him. And the guy is going to say, oh, okay, if you eat the brownie, you can come in.
No outside food or drink.
Yeah, no outside food or drink.
So I'm imagining we see Stable walk away from the table, bag contents intact, just kind of munching on a very innocent little brownie wrapped in plastic wrap. So Chet, as you're walking through, you walk by all these booths that have glittering prizes on them. The lights blink lazily over the piles of stuffed animals and plastic swords. But there it is. The thing you begged for as a child, still perfectly set in your memory, but just out of reach. What did the little boy Chet always wish he could win at the fair?
This is gonna sound crazy, but it's a giant slinky, like 6 feet long, maybe a foot in diameter. Giant slinky.
And Graham, as you are now in the fair and the commotion has kind of died down, everybody's head is turning. Everybody's looking and just, is that the Butter Princess? 2019's Butter Princess. Did you know Graham was going to be here? I subscribe to Graham's Graham. Did you subscribe to Graham's Graham? And as you're walking past one of the concrete buildings. Let's say it's maybe one of the bathrooms set up. You see a series of posters, and each one of these posters has a beautiful young woman on it, and next to her is this uncanny effigy out of butter of the same beautiful woman. And below it are each of the years. And as you walk from 2014, 2015, or I'm sorry, 1914, 1915, and it just walking down, you can see, and each one of them is holding an animal that 4-H gave them for that year. 2017, 2018, 2020. How does that make Graham feel?
A little irked, actually a lot irked, almost pushing into a little mad. You know, I know it was a little contentious that year when they decided to say, you know what, guys can join too. Let's see what happens. But you know, I still won. I still earned my spot on this wall with all the other butter princesses.
And Stable, God, you don't remember the fair being this much fun. It seems like the colors are a little bit brighter. It seems like the smells are a little bit more evocative. And there's food of all sorts in every direction. Much of it fried, a lot of it on a stick. What pleasant childhood memory does this evoke as the heat rises off the grills and carries the scent of butter and birch sugar?
Oh, it's the most pleasant thing ever. So it's literally me and my family. I have about 10 siblings, mother and father, and then our babysitter. Well, looking back on it, it was probably just my father's second girlfriend. We don't know. She was just always kind of there. Just having that family bonding moment was just freaking awesome.
Yeah, and I think as that last piece of brownie falls off of your fingers and just floods your mouth with beautiful chocolate and a hint of something else, we are done with ring number 1. And we're going to start ring 2 on the other side of the break. Let's do a 10-minute break. I gotta say, there's a lot of light die, highest die rolls that happened in ring one. We'll have to see if that continues. I'm going to welcome the three of you to ring two. Hope at the Miracle of Birth Barn. The fair unfolds around you in bloated excess. Sweat, salt, sugar, diesel. The asphalt ripples with heat. Every breath feels shallow and too warm, tinged with the metallic tang of generators coughing behind every food stall. Your shirt clings to you. Your patience might begin to fray. Every crowd feels like it's moving against you. You watch others find joy, find shade, find shortcuts. But do you? You push through clusters of shrieking children and dawdling elders, your pulse louder than the music from the rides. Somewhere ahead, through the press of flesh and sunburned arms, is sanctuary. The Miracle of Birth Barn. Cool air, linoleum floors, and the low murmur of awe. They say it's refrigerated, so cold that the sculptors wear parkas in August, their breath visible in the dimness. And there, somewhere in the center of the barn, surrounded by livestock giving birth, is the Butter Princesses, all 12 posing like saints in a frozen cathedral. The promise of purity, glory, and recognition chills the very air. But you're not there yet. Not even close. You're here, where the only miracles are sweat-stuck flyers and the lingering stench of livestock and kettle corn. Hope is just ahead, but so is everything standing in your way. Stable. What is your goal for being here at the fair this year?
Oh,
What is your drive?
So it's just something super small. I'm here to collect the butter icon for a private collector.
You were here to steal the Butter Princess?
Oh, that's such a harsh way to put it.
That's a weird
Luckily,
way of saying accurate.
luckily, your nerves are very calm. You're kind of loosey-goosey, so I think you
Right?
think you might be all right. Graham, what is your goal this year at attending the Minnesota State Fair?
Well, I mean, you've already seen it. You know, to make sure that I am properly immortalized on the wall to remove any misunderstandings where people may look down at me in the way that they don't look down at the other Butter Princesses.
Graham, what do you see that gives you a hint on why Stable is here?
You know, this is the Miracle of Life booth, and they have some different sculpted a baby, so like maybe the egg where it looks like it's been cut open to show you what the little bird looks like inside of it, and I worry that she thinks this would look good in her collection.
I love the idea that you are just catching Stable walking by and stealing little tiny butter effigies as she's walking through the birthing barn. Chet, what is your goal? What brought you to the fair this year?
Well, I've been told by very reputable sources that the butter bust contains spiritual energies. Now, I'm not a superstitious man. I'm not a practitioner of the occult, but I've been told that these things do carry some weight of power and belief. And by sacrificing said butter bust on my my altar, I will summon the spirit of butter to this earthly plane. And everybody loves butter. And if I can, coordinate with the spirit of butter, then everybody's going to love Chet Nephew Jr., just like it should be.
If I were to tell you why Graham was here, why would you immediately know that he's going to fail?
Well, I mean, he's going to fail because I'm going to make sure he fails. He's going to provide an adequate distraction for me to make sure I abscond with said devotional item for my purposes. But it's all well and good. He wants to clear his name and everything. But old Chet Nephew Jr. got another thing coming for him. You know what I'm saying?
And last but not least, Stable. How far are you willing to go to stop Chet?
I would do everything possible.
So the three of you are about 100 yards from the birthing barn, and there's just this sea of humanity moving like a current river in front of you, stopping you from not only getting to the barn, be able to see the 12 potential candidates, one of which will be crowned the Butter Princess. The smell of buttered corn on the cob permeates the air. It hangs thick in your nostrils, sweet, smoky, and vaguely sweaty. What are you going to do? Apparently, just stand there.
Yeah. I'm taking in the glory that is the birthing place. So.
Yeah, you're taking in just the beauty of the building, like a cathedral to new life and afterbirth.
Look, I got to get these people out of my way, and there's one person that I know that can pull a crowd, and that is the disgraced 2019 Butter Princess, who happens to be standing just over there. And see, if I just make a big enough ruckus, I can get them all diverting their attention that away while I go this away. So I'll say, whoa, hey, look at there. It ain't no Graham Brown, star of Graham, food blogger extraordinaire, second place bacon competitor champion, and 2019 Butter Princess. Graham, look, get your autographs, sign up. I'll be collecting a small fee for the privilege.
All right, this is definitely going to be a risk roll, and I can't wait.
Absolutely.
What does this look like if you succeed, Chet?
What this looks like is I get a nice long line of people ready to mob Graham, get a little bit of scratch because they're all going to pay me $5 for their autograph. And then while they are going to mob, I'm going to slip past them. Not only that, but then Graham will be waylaid by this crowd and make his life a little harder.
I have to give dibs to Graham. So Graham, if Chet fails, what could go wrong?
Well, first, he actually makes it easier for me to get in because now I have that crowd and it's like, oh, we should take photos over at the barn.
Oh, I love
And
that.
I can run it into my whole hype setup.
Oh, so what could go wrong is the exact opposite of what Chet's hoping for, which is expedient entry into the birthing barn for Graham.
Yes.
That is a good one. What else could go wrong for Chet? What are you thinking, Stable?
What could go wrong because you are saying that it costs $5? Everyone's going to come to you first.
Ooh.
Hoisted by my own petard.
Yeah, and none of them have exact change.
No,
Why did I make it $4.50?
There's the one person who has $4 bills and 100 pennies.
Exactly. Oh, what else could go wrong? Actually, I love those too, Chet. I think that gives me a lot of choices if you fail this roll. So let's talk about a white die. Do you have a skill? Let's take a look at your skills, Chet. Animals, barns, writing, and sympathy. Did any of those apply here for what you're trying to do?
No, but I do have a feat of hubris.
Oh, which feat of hubris of one, the owner of 3? Which one are you going to use?
Sales, which says, let someone have your way.
Definitely a salesmanship thing happening here. So that is an easy white die. Because it's a feat of hubris, at the end, we're going to add another dark die. But you get your white die by using your feat of hubris. Do we have any devil's bargains we want to tempt Chet with? He already is dealing with the fact that we know at some point Rooster is going to expect to be made whole from this bad stereo sale. That's already true for him. What are some other?
This one's light. Whether you succeed or fail, the crowd is going to go over to Graham, but you will not receive any profit from it.
So whether succeed or fail, your pockets will be empty.
See, I was going to go in the opposite direction. I was going to go, all the carnies here know he has money.
Oh, no, I can't beat that. I can't beat either of those devil's bargains. So question
Sorry for
you.
trying.
Yeah, no, that was good. Both of those are good. Chet, do you want an extra white die? Are you willing to accept the devil's bargain?
I would love for all the carnies to know that I have money.
Beautiful. So let's put that down there, is that the carnies know you're loaded. That is going to be true whether you fail or succeed. You've got 2 white die. You're forced to have a dark die because you've invoked one of your feats of hubris. Nothing here that tells me I need to add another dark die on top of that, but you do have an option to add one yourself. And that is if you're willing to risk your mind or body to succeed here.
Not this particular venture.
So it looks like 2 white and a dark. Let's give it a roll.
2 light in the dark. Hey, look at that.
Man, oh man, you make this game look easy. On a 5, you're going to succeed, but there'll be a complication. I want to hear what the success looks like first, and then I'll offer that complication.
I think, yes, indeed, I have drawn attention to Graham. And folks start, Graham, oh, from Graham's Graham, oh. And they do begin to form a line, and I do start to take money, but then it quickly devolves into madness of me just trying to set up an impromptu line, and they just sort of blast past me, and I see that a gap has opened up, like the parting of the Red Sea itself. Chet Nephew Jr., aka Moses, is gonna just slide on through that gap right toward the barn.
And Chet, you make it into the birthing barn, and that cool air just descends over your body, and it feels like all of the sweat in your armpits evaporates immediately. Almost feels like maybe little icicles are forming in that sticky spot that you don't like to talk about under your jeans. But you've made it inside of the birthing barn. Here's the complication. Rooster was in the wings, watched this all unfold, and just saw Chet stuff his pockets full of cash. So he now knows you not only have the ways, but the means to pay him back.
Unless the carnies get it first.
Stable.
Yes.
What are you going to do as you're so far away from this beautiful, cool birthing barn?
Okay. I want to try to ride on what Big Bucko there did. So, so before everyone parts, I want to try to like get through. Well, the wave comes back.
So you're starting to take advantage, ride in the wake of what
Mhm.
Chet has accomplished. And as you go through, you're looking to make sure, you've got PETA there with you, and all of a sudden you bump into a security guard. Uh,
Oh, no.
Ma'am, and the way he's talking, he seems like in slow motion, like your mind has been slightly altered. Ma'am, this path is closed. You need to go this way. And he slowly offers you a route to the infamous haunted house.
No. And I'm trying to figure out why is he in slow motion? How about this? This girl behind me has been stealing the entire time.
I'm such a fan of High Stable. So it sounds like what you're trying to accomplish is to not be rerouted to the haunted house, but to redirect the security guard instead of him redirecting you to go to this
Yes.
poor, innocent little teenager behind you. Does
Oh,
that
yeah.
sound about right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. I know for a fact this could go wrong. So if you fail this, I think you are going to be physically escorted into the infamous haunted house and separated from the birthing barn. Who else has some thoughts of what could go wrong here?
I think the little girl is the daughter of the person who runs the fair.
Oh.
What could go wrong here is that you picked the exact wrong person, and there are ramifications of indicting the daughter of Mr. Fair. Name's Fair, State Fair.
Yeah.
Chet, do you have any thoughts about what could go wrong for poor Stable here?
I think there is no girl behind her. She's hallucinating.
So,
I swear there was.
oh my God, that's
This
amazing.
girl is stealing.
Right.
Actually, it's a mirror hanging up on a.
What could go wrong is she just accused herself. Oh my God, that's incredible. All right, so let's take a look at our skills here to see if you get a white die. We've got appraisal, hoarding, vigilance, and misdirection. It sounds like misdirection fits. So that is a white die for Stable. Devil's bargains. Whether you succeed or not at this roll, I think that the spirit of a dead relative who's embodied and lived in that haunted house is going to mark you and follow you through the rest of these rings. So whether you succeed or fail, the spirit of a dead relative who's been haunting the haunted house is going to follow you. Who has another devil's bargain for Stable? Let's tempt her.
Sorry, trying to.
I think succeed or fail, Chet will notice that you're trying to ride on his coattails behind him, and he'll clock you.
Succeed or fail, you have an arch enemy. And Chet, that's interesting. Graham, do we have another one we can tempt Stable with?
Not off the top of my head, no.
All right, Stable. Do either of these devil's bargains tempt you to pick up another white die, light die?
Yeah, bring it on, Chet.
All right. So let's add to your notes that whether you succeed or fail, you are marked by Chet. Chet has got you in his crosshairs. That is 2 light die. And I've got no reason to add a dark die, but you have the option to add a dark die. Is there anything here that makes you want to risk your mind or body to succeed?
Not for this particular interaction.
All right, 2 white dice. Let's do it.
First second happen. Roll 4.
Man, oh man, you guys make this game look easy. That is a 4, which is a success, but I can add a complication. Let's first look at what success looks like. You need to go this way.
Behind me. It's like this adorable freckled face redhead teenager.
He looks and he goes, yeah. Ma'am, and he kind of just shoves you forward into the birthing barn as he descends on this poor, innocent little teenage girl. All right, you are in the barn stable, but we've got a situation outside of the barn, and that is Graham is in the center of a complete and total crushing crowd of people who want your autograph, an autograph that they have paid $5 for. And they're pulling out hats. We've got women pulling down their shirts for you to sign the top of their breast. Everybody wants your signature right now, Graham. And there is no way with this happening that you're going to be able to get to that birthing barn.
Okay. So the first thing I need to do is to get them in a more orderly line.
Okay.
And then the next thing I need to do is, as I'm working through the line, basically back walk into the barn.
Oh, so as you were, each signature is bringing you closer and closer to the barn, and because you've got them in a nice orderly line, it turns out you've got a straight shot to get in. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
So if you succeed here pretty efficiently, it turns out the exact opposite of what Chet was hoping for is going to happen. You are going to very quickly make it to the miracle barn.
Yeah, because part of what I'm picturing is if I can get the crowd close enough, then the door people are going to have to do fire marshal concern about that crowd versus stopping me from going in.
I think that's fantastic. I am eyeballing a feat of hubris, but I don't know if you're going for this or not. So
I can definitely use that, my weave hubris.
The feats of hubris. Weave is one of your feats of hubris.
Yes.
One of 2, pass through congested spaces with ease. I think that totally fits here. That immediately gives you that white die. It's going to give you a dark die too at the end of this, but you've got your first white die. Let's talk about what could go wrong here. I think if you fail this, Graham, the 2025 Butter Princess Committee has put a price on your head. They are going to meet with you. And what will happen is as you are just about to enter the barn, you're going to be scooped up by fair security and escorted to a dark, dark building that nobody talks about, where the committee of the Butter Princess judges are there. And they will do one thing, the thing they're very good at, and that is judge you. That's what could go wrong here. Anybody else have thoughts?
One thing that could go wrong is that the crowd of people could actually have security stop the entrance and shift everybody to the haunted house.
Because there's so many people, the fire code is exceeded, and nobody else, including Graham, is going to be able to go in, and everybody's going to be routed to the haunted house. I think that's good. Chet, any thoughts of what could go wrong?
The signatures and the photos take longer than Graham was expecting. Not used to this weight of fame, and while he thinks he can just slide right down the line and into the barn, he's going to be stuck there for quite a while, signing and taking photos.
Yeah, and I think it might go so long, maybe, Chet, that he's not going to get a chance to, because really, I think the big advantage for everybody making it to the Miracle Birth Barn is to see all 12 of these sculptures beforehand and maybe start to guess who might win, because I think all of you knowing who the ultimate winner is could help bring you closer to your drive, especially for Chet and Stable. All right, let's tempt Graham here with a devil's bargain. Who has a devil's bargain for Graham?
How do I say this? Whether you succeed or fail, the person that runs your biggest hate campaign will reveal themselves.
So your true arch enemy, the leader of the anti-2019 Butter Princess Championship faction, who has their own Facebook group, will reveal themselves, whether you succeed or fail. Chet, do you have a devil's bargain that's worth another white die for Graham, who already has a dark die in this role?
I don't have anything juicy springing to mind.
I think whether you succeed or fail, Graham, during the live stream of you getting these signatures, you're having another huge engagement moment where you're adding followers. Some half-toothed guy is going to moon your phone and immediately get your account brought down. Do any of these devil's bargains tempt you?
Yeah, yours just sounds too on point for these type of things.
All right. So let's put in your notes that you are going to have Graham's Graham shut down. It's not going to prevent me from saying Graham's Graham, but it will shut down whether you succeed or fail. That's going to give you 2 white die. The fact that you're using a feat of hubris gives you a dark die. I don't have a reason to give you another dark die, but you have the option. Do you wish to risk your mind or body to succeed here?
Sure. I mean, I've got a crush of people in front of me, and I'm walking backwards to another crush of people. This feels like the perfect spot for something like that.
I agree. And on top of it, what's interesting is when you use a feat of hubris, you're already forced to get a dark die, which eliminates your ability to re-roll. Right. So I can definitely see risking your mind or body here to get that. So we've got 2 light, 2 dark. Let's see what happens. That's what I'm talking about. We have got 5 as the highest number, which matches 2 of your dark die. So a few things are going to happen here. One is you're going to succeed with a complication. But before we do that, your ruin is currently 2. 5 is higher than 2. Graham, I need you to go to ruin 3, please.
I am at ruin 3. Yes, and I also love the fact that one of my white dice was 5, but the dark wins.
Yeah, always. So I've got a question for you. This living, breathing power that is the state fair is slowly seeping into you. What has changed about how you think about the state fair as you become closer to ruin?
I think I am starting to see that there are some fundamental flaws with the fair in that, the whole rule by community is an issue. They need one fair monarch to rule them all.
You're becoming pro-fascist fair. I think that's incredible. Your ruin goes up to 3, and I'm going to give you a condition. And I think that condition is paranoid.
Okay.
If you would add that to your character sheet. Tell me about success, and I'll talk about the complication. Walk me through what the success looks like, Graham.
Sure. And I do have a thought on the complication as well.
Great.
So as I said, I am walking through, and as I, kind of pass the gate because everyone's so busy trying to deal with this crowd just kind of following me. I sneak in and I accidentally back into the security guard who gave me the speech about not making a massive hype hoopla and everything about myself.
And let's have this complication be a final warning.
Okay.
So this security guard's patience has been worn thin. So in your notes, just put in their final warning for me that that's your complication. But you make it into the birthing barn. Chet, as you get in there and you feel that cool air, the outer ring of the birthing barn are just stables of new baby goats. The slosh of a baby cow exiting its mother and landing into the sweat-soaked straw under it. But in the center, you see all 12 of them. 12 beautiful young girls, because we're not going to allow men to compete in this again. And next to them, 90 pounds of butter each. And slowly these virtuosos of butter carvings are slowly immortalizing each of these contestants. When you then feel something sticky on your hand, and you look down and see a little girl in a pastel pink dress with a lollipop swirled and round, bigger than her head. And she looks up at you, Chet, and she goes, "Are you my daddy?"
Well, that's a very complicated question, little girl. That depends on who your mama is and where exactly you came from, because old Chet's been around. Oh, no, little girl. I don't know. I think you might be lost and confused.
And as you kind of pull your hand away from her, you realize just how sticky her hand is. And you are unable to break free of this little girl. "I hope you're my daddy."
Well, many other. Oh, kid. Did you dip your entire body in one of them candy apple dispensers? Little girl. Oh, jeez. Is there a father looking for a daughter around here?
So this little girl is not going to let you get anywhere. Unless you want to be stuck here in the birthing barn while the rest of them continue to the other rings, I'm going to need a risk roll. What are you hoping to accomplish here, Chet?
Well, goats are mighty stubborn. And I think if I can get her other hand stuck to one of these goats, she will be pulled free. And then, I'm sure her parents are around here somewhere. They'll find her, stuck to a goat.
So by sticking her other hand, which is holding this huge spiraled lollipop, to a goat, that goat is going to pull the child away with enough force that it will free you and allow you to continue your journey through the rings?
Yes.
All right. What could go wrong? I'm going to take some low-hanging fruit here. I think if this goes wrong, you do stick her hand to the goat, but it doesn't unstick her hand from you. And the three of you, led by the goat, will be dragged through the barn. That's what could go wrong here. Who has some other thoughts of what could go wrong for Chet?
This might more so be a devil's bargain. Her mom is looking for her and comes with security.
I like that. Graham, do you have any thoughts?
I was thinking that the goat's actually one of the little goats. And while Chet's trying to get the girl stuck to the goat, Mama Goat comes up and ends up ramming into Chet.
All right. I think that's good. Chet, I am looking at your skills. You got animals. Is that what you're thinking?
That's what I'm gearing toward.
All right. I think
I'm
you're
a livestock virtuoso.
You are. So you should have no trouble getting this goat to stick its hide to this poor little innocent girls with a lollipop's hand and potentially free you from that. So that's going to definitely be a light die. Devil's Bargain. I think whether you succeed or fail this, Chet, you are in fact her father.
Ah, darn it, Craig. Whether
Look, you meet one Waffle House waitress in Tuscaloosa, and then your whole life is ruined.
Whether you succeed or fail, there's 3 children here that you'll run into that is yours.
Graham, do you have any thoughts on the Devil's Bargain?
Whether you succeed or fail, you actually separate her from the lollipop. It's still stuck to your hand, and she's screaming about you stealing her candy until you give her money to get a new lollipop.
Oh, I love that too. Those are some good ones. So real
great.
quick, guys,
Can I take all
Brian
of that?
Sago, who created this game, is watching us on YouTube right now. How cool is
wow.
that? So big waving hi to
Oh.
Brian. Brian, we are having a shit ton
Hi,
of fun.
Brian.
Yes.
So well done here, my friend, and we appreciate it. All right, so that's some pretty good Devil's Bargains there, Chet. What are you
They're
thinking?
all good. Oh, they are all good.
But you don't have to take any of them.
I know. I think that this kid actually being my daughter is hilarious. So I'm definitely taking that one.
So my my daughter's at the fair. Let's add that as a truth for you. Whether you succeed or fail. We have got 2 white die. I don't see a reason to add a dark die, but you have the option. Would you like to risk your mind or body, Chet, to succeed here? And you're in a very interesting
yes.
position because you're already
Yes,
at 3.
I would like to risk my mind and my body.
All right, let's add that dark die.
All right, 2 light, 1 dark. Let's see it. Oh, of course.
That's a dark 6. So I've got good news. The good news is that you are going to succeed and you're going to be able to describe to me that success. The bad news is your ruin of 3 is now a ruin of 4. And
certainly
as
is.
your ruin goes to 4, Chet, what power does the fair gain over you?
I think the goat looks me directly in the eye and speaks to me.
Done. I think that's fantastic. Describe your success for me. What does success look like here, Chet? You succeed.
What's your name, little sweetheart? Have you ever pet a goat? Oh, they got the softest fur. Here, let's walk over here. You can just pet this goat. Oh, isn't that nice? And you just see their hand getting like covered in goat hair.
Well,
and
not
the
only that, like,
lollipop.
yeah, it's furry, and the lollipop starts getting furry, and it doesn't seem to stop her, so she takes this furry lollipop and she goes and licks it and just gets the hair on her tongue and it scares the goat. The goat kicks, takes off.
You know I don't like children, Chet.
Slowly we see your skin get stretched and pulled as her hand is being released from yours, and a little bit of your flesh goes with her, but that's okay.
Mhm.
She's of your flesh anyway.
Oh God, it's horrifying.
Stable and Graham, you are inside of this birthing barn, and I'm not quite sure what you're going to do while you're here.
I'm also going to need to get a condition from that ruin.
Oh, you are. Sticky fingers. I would like that to be your condition, please. Thank you, Roger.
You got it. No problem.
For me, I want to go and take a better look at the icons.
So you want to get a little bit closer?
Yeah. See which one may be more well done than the others.
So as you start to work your way through the crowd, and they're all gawking, complete awe. This is this beautiful center. And you walk by the Beehive Eco Experience, which is where they talk about the birthing of the kindest and most important insect in the insect world. And the glass display case has cracked a bit. Someone is screaming, and the bees seem to be escaping through this crack and moving strangely, a little too unified, a little too fast. And one lands on your neck and doesn't move. What are you going to do? You could feel it just kind of itching and touching its little pointy legs on your neck.
Okay. Don't panic. We got this. I am going to slowly try and swat it away before it can commence to a shanking.
So if you succeed here, it sounds like you are going to not get stung. Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right. I think a lot could go wrong here. Who has thoughts? What could go wrong if Stable fails in attempting to get this bee off her neck?
You're mildly allergic. It's not enough to kill you, but it is enough that you have to get a paramedic to take a look at you.
Yes, you do get stung and you're allergic to bee stings. That's a good one. Chet, what do you think could go wrong here?
Did you know that dogs and bees can smell fear? I think in the flailing to swat this bee, you're going to knock into the display case and it's going to fall over and set bees loose in this building.
Oh, pure and utter chaos as bees just flood the birthing barn. All right, so let's take a look. Stable, you've got appraisal, hoarding, vigilance, and misdirection as your skills. Any of those fit here? Is there a feat of hubris you want to evoke? What are you thinking here?
Our feats aren't just a one-time use, right?
Oh no, you can use them over and over again.
I want to use Banshee Screech.
Ooh, Banshee Shriek is your second feat of hubris, and it
Yeah.
stops all in their tracks. And I think that includes bees too.
Yes.
So it sounds like you are going to scream and cause everybody, including these bees, to freeze. So that's definitely a white die, no question. Devil's bargain. Whether you succeed or fail, I think 2 or 3 bees are going to find their way into your bag, and that could never cause anything to go wrong later. So I think that you'll have some hitchhikers, whether you succeed or fail. Who has another devil's bargain? Let's tempt Stable.
I'm thinking whether she succeeds or fails, she further cracks the case. And so while they don't actually go into her, more of the bees come out and cause a little bit of a panic inside of the crowd.
I like that. Not giving Stable the amount of time she was hoping for to be able to scope out these butter princesses as they're being carved.
Yeah.
Chet, did you have a thought?
I think your Banshee Shriek stopping everyone includes your ferret PETA, who gets stopped in his tracks and left behind.
Ooh, whether you succeed or fail, poor PETA is frozen and unable to continue with you through the rings. Stable, are you tempted by one of these?
There is something about hitchhiking bees that stood out to me, and I want to do that one.
Let's add that to your notes that you have bees that have hitchhiking bees. That is a truth whether you succeed or fail here. You're going to end up with 2 light die. Because you're using a feat of hubris, you've got a dark die. I have no reason to add an additional dark die, but you have that option. Do you wish to risk your mind or body to succeed here?
Yes, I did.
All right. 2 light, 2 dark. What could go wrong?
Nothing.
We've already discussed what could go wrong.
Oh, okay. That's fine too.
I love this. Full success, Stable. A full success. The problem is that your ruin of 3 is less than that 6 on that dark die. So I need you to go to ruin 4.
I'm ruin 3 now.
Oh, you go up to ruin 3.
Yes,
I apologize. It was ruin 2 before.
That's
You're right.
okay.
So you're now at ruin 3. Everything freezes. You're going to describe this success for me. We see the bees crawling into your bag, unbeknownst to you. But for the ruin increasing, what is a trait that you have spent a lifetime suppressing that now the fair brings out in you?
Well, clearly not stealing. It would be impulsive behaviors is what.
You have spent a lifetime trying to not be impulsive, to think through things and to be a little bit more methodical, but somehow the energy here in the fair is seeping into your pores and bringing out that child impulsiveness that you've always dealt with. I think that's fantastic. Describe to me this success. Tell me what happens.
Okay. So as the bees on my neck and everyone's in here, you necessarily wouldn't see, turn to the side and my mouth, a little bit like a snake's, will unhinge and a screech will follow out of it, stopping everything. I'll then move the bee.
And you are able to get a ringside seat to watch the carvings. And we slowly see the barn come back to life again. Bits and pieces, fingers start to move, hands start to move, people start to walk again. But for some reason, Graham, you're still frozen after hearing this screech. And you know, if you don't do something about this, you might be as still as the effigy of you in 2019. How are you going to regain your mobility?
That is a very good question. So I'm trying to walk through my options. So very loud noise caused me to
Cause you to freeze, and
me
for
to
some
freeze.
unexplainable reason, the rest of the barn has regained its mobility and has gone back to its normal process. There's a goat dragging a little girl in front of you that just races by, and her mouth has got goat hair all around it. But you are unable to move a finger.
So I'm going to explain it, and I realize this probably won't hit any of my skills, so I'm not trying to
It's okay.
work with skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as a food blogger, one of my things is about making sure I tie stories to my recipes. And so I'm going to look inside myself and I'm going to think about all of these events that I could tie to a recipe. And, obviously it would have to be about butter. So I'm going to remember the time that I was trying to grab a corn dog that was still in the fryer and my hand got too close to the oil and I froze, and how I was able to finally move my hand away from the fryer and unfreeze.
Interesting. So by kind of recalling another time where you were frozen, you're going to try to remind your body that it doesn't need to stay frozen and that it can actually move in this situation. Am I capturing that?
Yes.
All right. So success looks like you regain your mobility and can then continue getting closer. I like that. I actually am going to give you a white die here because I think your skill of taste and your history as a food blogger definitely works here. So let's add that white die for your skills. Chet and Stable, what could go wrong if Graham fails to remind himself that his body is functional?
He will be essentially trapped there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think so. I think frozen there.
Yeah.
I think what could go wrong here is that dark cabal of judges that judges the 2025 Butter Princess will mistaken you for your Butter Princess effigy in 2019. And they will move you to the freezers where they store past Butter Princesses. And you will be locked inside of a freezer if you fail here. Chat, what could go wrong?
I think the spirit of the fair will corrupt that memory, and his hand actually plunges into the fryer, and his hand begins to blister and bubble and crack.
Oh, he actually burns his hand in this memory of oh my god, that's really good. All right, those are some good things that could go wrong here. Let's tempt Graham with some devil's bargains. I don't have one that's jumping to the top of my head. Do you have one, Chet or Stable?
Yes, no matter what, parts of you are slowly going to turn butter.
We're going to start to see a physical transformation between here and Ring 5, where Graham, you actually become more and more like the Butter Princess that you were in 2019. That's a pretty good devil's bargain. I don't know, Chad, I don't know if you have one. I'm still thinking. That was a really good one. I think success or failure, because you have spent so much time concentrating on this corn dog situation and this recipe, that you are going to be unable to stop yourself if you in fact come across a stall selling corn dogs, and it will waylay you and you will not be able to stop yourself. Success or failure. That's my devil's bargain.
I would say success or failure. You are reminded that all of those hokey little stories you write about your food blogging, they're all just made up lies. And this is no exception. And you're reminded that you're really just a hack and a liar.
Oh boy. You are going to realize that you are a charade.
So okay. So normally I would go with that one, but I have to become the avatar of the Butter Princess.
That's a pretty good one. Yeah.
That's a pretty good one. All right. So, in fact, that's what I want you to put in your notes. That is true, is that you are becoming the avatar of the Butter Princess, which is freaking phenomenal. And that gets you another white die. So you've got 2 white die. Graham, I'm going to force you to have a dark die, because I think you are paranoid as you look around at everybody else being able to move, and yet you're not able to move. It immediately makes you think that there's forces working against you that have singled you out. So I'm going to invoke your paranoid condition and give you a dark die.
Sure.
You have the option of adding a second one if you were willing to risk your mind or body.
Sure, why not? I mean, I am using a memory of fear. Oh, anyway, so just there's the possibility that I might be, locked in that memory of fear as opposed to breaking out.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. That's too light, too dark. Ruin of 3. What happens, Graham?
I think you said rune of 4.
God, I love this. Your ruin goes from 3 to 4. The good news is you are going to succeed. You are going to free yourself from this trap. I'm going to tie this to your devil's bargain. My question for you, Graham, is your ruin increases to 4. What is the first sign you notice that tells you that your flesh is starting to transform?
I notice that, obviously in this area, there's this permeation of the buttery smell, but it's starting to cling to me like a cologne.
You were starting to smell buttery.
Delicious.
That is the end of Ring 2. Ring 3 is called Suspicion at the Seed Art Exhibit. And we are going to do that in part 2. In 2 weeks, we're going to be back, but we're going to run credits. And when we get back from credits, we got a lot to talk about on this game. So stick around. We'll be right back on the other side. All right, we are back. So one of the things, so when I read Butter Princess for the first time, and this is something that's so cool about Trophy in general, is like there's so many ways that this game can be run. Like I read it, and this could be, straight up farcical, like Wes Anderson type game. I read it as Lynchian. I just felt like there's this like secret cosmic horror that's involved here, but I'm also precluded there, right? And I just love this idea of the State Fair almost being this entity that takes over everybody here. And I feel like that is the tone that we've brought to this, and I really appreciate the three of you leaning in on that and willing to kind of take this angle with it. But what's important to me is that those watching, that is a decision I made as a GM, and that we're deciding as a table. I can tell you that this game could be very light and very farcical and just fully comedic. You don't have to go as dark as I'm kind of pressing this to go. That's part of the freedom of, I think, of what Brian's made here. So on the channel, one of the things that we like to do at the end of every session is a thing called Thoughts, Stars, and Wishes. I've added the Thoughts piece. Stars and Wishes comes from the Gauntlet, Jason Cordova's group. And Stars and Wishes are pretty simple. Stars are a moment in the game session today that really stood out for you, like where you just felt like you were in this game having the most fun, and just really it stood out. If tomorrow someone asked you, how did Butter Princess go, it's what you would tell them about the game. Wishes is something that you got to experience in the session today that you would like more of, or something that's missing, something you'd like to see as we go into session 2. And then we'll start with thoughts. Thoughts are, what did you think about the Trophy Dark system and Butter Princess as part of that? So maybe I'm going to start with you, I think, Dika, because you and I played Trophy Dark together.
Yes. Okay, I'll be honest, like this is a lot of fun. I wasn't sure what I was going to be walking into. For especially Trophy Dark, again, walking in blind, I was like, yeah, that sounds fun. Butter Princess, I was like, oh, I get it now. And it's a lot of fun. Especially because the premise is a butter statue. And the table really makes it come alive. So that's what I like about just the dark system in general, and having it in this particular setting at a fair. You don't inherently, we all know that there's something creepy about a county fair, but it's overshadowed about the funness of it, if that makes sense.
Totally. So
Yeah.
what's your stars for the session? What really stood out for you?
Man, so I think everything was super good. I'm going to give it to Roger when he parted the sea for him, but also screwed over Graham as a character. So that play was great, because end of the day, none of us are friends and we don't necessarily care for each other, which is very different than how most people will play.
Yeah.
So that was a good 2-for-1.
I agree. And what are you wishing for, Dika? What would you like to see more of, or what are you hoping to see next time?
For me, I can't wait until I start stabbing y'all in the back. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time.
You are racing.
everyone's-
You are racing to ruin 5, aren't you?
Listen, I think I got it now. I'm like, okay, I just gotta put myself in some danger. Play to
That is
lose. We're good. Let's do it.
One of the premises of this games, which I think makes it very different, right? Is we're so precious with our characters when we're playing other games. This is not the game to do that, because whether you try or not, your character is going to end up bad in a bad situation. So you might as well lean into it and have fun with it. So
Yeah, so I will point out on my last roll, I got 6s on the last white and the last black, which means that even if I had not risked my mind, I still would have succeeded. But because I risked my mind, I got the ruin.
Yep, sure enough. Donna, let's go right to you. Thoughts, stars,
Sure.
and wishes.
So overall, I like this. I mean, I have found over time, I've played the classic, I'll call them battle board style games, D&D, Pathfinder. I'm in a Starfinder campaign right now. But I have found over time that I like the narrative style, and I like let's put the rules in to support the narration, not to rule the narration.
Mm-hmm.
So many of these games it feels like it's like, okay, well, the rules are there more to say, okay, yes, you succeeded. Okay, what are you going to do next? And it doesn't really move the narration along. It just,
Right.
Whereas with the partial successes, it helps say, okay, well, it happened. I also like the fact, and I think this is part of the group that you got for this, is all of us seem the type that we're like, you know what? It's a game, and let's mess with our characters.
Yep.
There's so many people who think their character should be a little darling, and games like this, that just doesn't work.
Nope, could not agree more. So, stars.
Okay, so my star is going to be a little weird,
Okay.
but little backstory. Craig knows I have a hard and fast rule. I will play anything he runs except horror.
Correct.
And when he put this casting out, yeah, Decca, you're about to see why I'm saying this is a star. He said this is a horror, and we actually discussed what that level of horror was. And my star is how Craig has created this environment where I felt safe and comfortable to push that boundary of going into a horror game and seeing what it's like, because I know Craig understands my needs, will back it down a little bit if he needs to, has pieces in place that if it does get overwhelming, then I can still handle it, or I can say, okay, hold on a minute, and we can deal with it.
Safety tools are super important. And for those of you watching, safety tools are in place on every game here on the Third Floor Wars. We don't put them in the forefront. It is something that's private for the table, not for those viewing. But yeah, they are in place. I got to tell you, Donald, this is not the first time I've tricked you into playing a horror game with me. I am starting to question whether you dislike horror as much as you proclaim.
So to be honest, and part of this, and I know the other horror game I'm pretty sure that you're talking about, and you didn't trick me because we had a discussion about that one first.
Yep.
I'm starting to realize that there's specific types of horror I don't like. The problem is, as a child of the 80s and 90s, that was the primary horror of that era. And so in my head, I'm picturing the more jump scare, the aliens, the psycho,
Right.
the, Halloween, that style of horror. I don't mind the suspense. I listen to Old Gods of Appalachia, for example. That's kind of, an extension of this.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's part of why I wanted to play this game, was to help say, okay, it doesn't look like horror as a problem. I have problems with subgenres.
I think
so.
so.
Let me feel out where those pieces are.
That's very cool. That was a great star, by the way. I appreciate Donald, that's working for you. How about wishes? What do you want more of, or what didn't you get that you want?
The same thing I do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the fair.
I cannot tell you how ecstatic I am about this idea of you becoming the effigy and the avatar of the Minnesota State Fair. I love games so much.
Yeah.
All right, Raj, thoughts, stars, and wishes?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, just echo what everybody has said, but yeah, on these, narrative games, you need a table that you have a lot of trust with, a lot of trust with the GM, a lot of trust with fellow players, and no doubt about it that Craig puts together tables that are compatible. I've had the pleasure of playing with both of these lovely players before, and of course with Craig as well. And it's always just a fun experience. I love that the system keeps you engaged even when it's not quote unquote your scene, because you get to throw in the what could go wrong. You get to throw in the devil's bargains, and sometimes you can't think of one that's better than the one that somebody else came up with. But you're still engaged. You're still thinking. You're still in it. Especially since we're not friends, we're not, walking through the state fair as one cohesive unit. We're doing our own thing, but it keeps us all involved and invested in one another's stories, and the way that those intersect is really cool. So
you've got to love a game where it starts with, okay, the first thing we do is split the party.
Right. Yeah.
Nope, the only time you were actually together was on the bus. But you also are you're staying close enough to each other that things like causing to have some subtle sabotage of each other is starting to come into play. We're starting to see that a little bit kind of rearing its head. We don't have to wait to ruin 5 to sabotage each other, which I think is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Stars, what stood out?
My favorite moment was when the little girl licked the hairy lollipop. Just that visceral grossness of, because a kid would do that regardless, but add into the horror weirdness of it, you can just just great. And the fact of it being actually Chet's kid is pretty funny too.
All right. Last but not least, what are you wishing to get more of, or what are you wishing to see?
I wanted to keep getting weirder. I think talking goats and turning into butter is just the start, and I think that we're all going to bring the weirdness, and I'm looking forward to what that looks like.
Yeah, don't wait for me, guys. You guys are already realizing that it's not just me who can make this thing become a David Lynch movie. We can all do it together. Those of you watching, thank you so much. Like, subscribe, go to Trophy. Good Lord. Go to Drive Through RPG and pick up Butter Princess. Not only is it a fun game that we are thoroughly enjoying, this is the second time I've run it. I'm going to run it a third time at Camping for Gamers, and I cannot wait. But I can tell you it is a beautiful product. The level of design and love that went into this product is immediately apparent when you get your hands on it. Love you guys. See you soon. Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.